Hello, you guys. Welcome back to Like Literally. First of all, long time no see. These past couple of weeks have been a little questionable. Not questionable. We got episodes up. It was a little bit of I don't know if I'm going to get an episode up this week. Just stuff was going on behind the scenes. But I think we are back to weekly. I think I missed 2 weeks, but I just missed 2 weeks. But we are back and ready to continue on with our weekly post. So, how are you guys? I personally am doing... How am I doing? Let's do a weekly recap. I'm personally doing good. Yeah, I'm doing good. I had a week. It was really fun. I have some a friend in town from Arizona, so I've been not partying, going out. I'm just having fun. What else did I do this week? It's been a little bit of a long week. I got in trouble. So that was entertaining, but we're good now. We're not in trouble anymore. Yes, I am 20 years old and still getting in trouble. We're circling back to the point of growing up, and I'm going to try to grow up soon. But yes, I'm still getting in trouble, but sometimes it's my own fault. Anyways, this week was good. I didn't really do much. I think I've just been chilling with family and hanging out with friends and just taking it easy. But these next couple of weeks, everything's going to pick back up. We have family in town this week, and we're going to go camping again. Remember I said summer of camping. So we're going camping again. So next week, I'll let you guys know how it goes. It's 4th of July weekend, and I am so excited to go camping. Wink, wink. I'm excited until I'm there, and then I'm just like, what the fuck is happening? Also, guys, I'm really sorry. I'm going to really try to speak into the mic today and not touch the mic, but I really, really am sorry. It is 12:45 p.m. and probably around 90 degrees already, and I live with my family. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to keep the AC on because I don't want my family being miserable just because I need to record a podcast episode. And again, I have family coming into town, and they're going to get here any moment. So I would like for them to come into a cool house. So if you guys can hear the AC, I'm really sorry. I'm going to try to mask it over with my voice. I'm sure everybody loves that. And just kind of work with it. I know if I were to film without AC, I probably would be profusely sweating. I already am low-key sweating, but the light's helping a little bit. So let's get into the topic. Let me get comfortable. Let's talk about some stuff. So obviously I'm not going to be, I feel like I can't hear myself. There you go. Obviously I'm not going to be taking credit for this podcast topic just because that's just not fair to the people that were creative enough to think of this topic. But I was brainstorming yesterday, and I was talking to my sister, and I was like, what should I do? We started looking at other podcasts, and there's this podcast called Unpack and Bounce Back. I don't really listen to them. She does, and I really liked their topics. So guys, go check them out. I'm sure they're great. I listened to one of their episodes and I absolutely loved it. So their episode was talking about the season of singleness. And yes, the season of singleness. And that is something that I feel it's perfect to be talking about right now. Just because everybody knows it's, hot girl summer and everybody's single. And if you're not single, then you're still, you don't have to be single to have a hot girl summer, but everybody's doing their own thing right now. It's summertime, and it is the season of singleness. Everybody's free. Mandates got lifted. So I feel like this was the perfect time to talk about the season of singleness. If I say that one more time, I might kill myself. But for me, it's not a season. It's been a very long time it's been just like multiple seasons of singleness. I mean, I've been single for probably like almost 2 years now, which is insane to think about. I feel like that time in my life just flew by. But let's talk about it. I mean, yes, okay. I'm just going to dive in. I mean, it's going to be a little bit difficult just because there's a lot to talk about. But I have been single for a very long time. And I, at first, was like really miserable because I was so used to having that other person with me at all times. And so used to having somebody be there ready to hang out with me whenever I wanted or whenever they wanted. So not having that person and kind of having to figure out life within just a life alone was a little difficult. And I think that's what a lot of people struggle with. And I feel like people harp on that mentality for too long, which is a reason why people jump into other relationships very, very quickly, just because they don't like being alone. So then they feel the need to move on very quickly, even though they're not fully healed, which, no judgment. I mean, that's people's way of coping, and I'm not necessarily saying it's a great way of coping, but I think that might be a reason why people just jump from relationship to relationship, because they can't be alone. So I, yes, was indeed alone, but not really. Like I've said in the past, my ex-boyfriend and I broke up, but never really actually broke up. So I was like alone, but like not really. So I don't know how well I could talk about this topic, but I think it gives people another perspective, because yes, I've been single, and yes, I've been able to do literally whatever I want, but still, like, not necessarily saying it's been my ex-boyfriend, but I have talked to guys and, you know, done my thing for these past 2 years of being alone. So I think just if you're getting out of a relationship, my biggest advice to you is stop talking to them, which is hypocritical for me to say because I didn't do that. But yes, stop talking to them. There's like a 90-day rule, and you don't talk to your ex-boyfriend for 90 days. And if you still feel like after the 90 days you miss them and you want them still in your life, then reach out again. But if not, then don't. So that's my rule, 90 days. Have I ever followed the rule? Absolutely not. Like, I've never, ever followed that rule. But I would love for you guys to follow the rule because, you know, what's my dad says? My dad says this saying, and it's, don't do as I do as I say. There you go. So that's my motto for this. Actually, that's my whole motto for this whole episode. Don't do as I do as I say, because everything I'm saying is not applicable to me, probably. Anyways, so let's move on. Yes, guys, don't talk to your ex-boyfriend. Be single. So, when I've been single, I feel like I really, really, really was starting to be single last summer, so about a year ago. And that time of really not mourning, I'm like, oh, good morning. Morning with the U. Am I saying it wrong? Probably. That time of being sad, I was super sad. And I just recently, you know how Snapchat does that thing where they give you a flashback to how many years ago? I recently got a flashback from a year ago, and I was sitting there just bawling my eyes out over a boy, and it was really, 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 really sad to see myself so down bad, like actually so down bad, when, I mean, like, me a year later is so okay with being alone. And I mean, that's just something we're gonna have to talk about a little bit later. But yes, me a year ago, I mean, was sitting in bed just like forever, just sad. And then also my friends were sad, so like it did not help that my friends were also sad, because Grace and I would quite literally sit in my bed and just cry about whoever, and we would just make each other more sad, which is like the worst thing you could possibly do. If you and your friend are single, you guys take advantage of that moment, and I do wish that her and I would have taken advantage and really been better, but it happens. We grow, and I think I've grown a lot this year, and obviously she has too. We're not really crying about boys anymore, which is very, very surprising. You guys can really ask my parents. You can ask my siblings. Like, Grace and I would come over and be like, da 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 da, and this happened and this happened, and they would just sit there and like roll their eyes at us because we sounded so dumb. And I mean, as much as it seems like it might be the end of the world for you in that moment, you guys need to understand, like, it gets so much better. And once you are like fully single, you really start to live life. And I mean, it took me a little bit, but I mean, I feel like I'm doing good. So with being single, like I said, you just grow into your own person. And I think moving away to college really helped with that, because as soon as I get home and just make some really like questionable decisions. I feel like when I'm in college, like, I'm very like independent and I like to have my own schedule, but the second I get home, I'm just like not thriving. As much as I love being home, I just make weird decisions when I'm here, and I don't know what it is, maybe because just I'm used to it. But yes, growing into your own person, and I feel like that helped because I was 300 miles away and not really I didn't have an option. I couldn't go see the boy I was crying about, or I couldn't go make some irrational decisions. But then I get home and then I make those decisions. So I guess, like, what does it really matter? But yeah, I think when I've been single, I learned a lot about myself, and I learned what I wanted and what I didn't want. And I unfortunately put up with, again, this is like no shade, and I don't want you guys to think that it's about my past relationship. I've talked to multiple guys after that sounds horrible. But yes, I've gotten to know a couple of guys after my relationship, and I have made some questionable decisions with the guys that I've talked to, and not really that questionable. I don't want it to sound like horrible, but yes, some of the guys that I've talked to were a little bit questionable, which is fine. It's all about the learning. It's all about the growing process. And the thing is with that is, while getting to know a lot of guys, which is a list, I made a pros and cons list, which we will get into later. But with talking to a bunch of guys and getting to know, people every now and then, and going on dates and, doing that whole thing, it teaches you what you want and what you don't want. And a lot of people will just be like, okay, one and done. Yes, this is my boyfriend and he's going to be my boyfriend for life. I don't think that's not a really great way to look at life, just because, there's so much more fish in the sea. And I talk to some guys now and I cut them off like within the same week. And I just like can't, like, the second that I'm done with somebody, I'm like done. Actually, not really, but like kind of, or I would like to think. But yes, you get to talk to a lot of people, you get to know a lot of people, and you get to know exactly what you want, which is so good for you. And you might not like that this guy does this, but you really like when a guy does this, so it's awesome. And yesterday I was sitting there thinking, like, how am I when I'm single? Well, I love it, and it is something that makes me not want to be in a relationship, which is not very good. I like it because I have no pressure to do. I could do whatever I want, whenever I want, with whoever I want. I can go on a date with Bob tomorrow and then, be over Bob the next day, and then go talk to Joe the day after that. Obviously I'm not doing stuff with the guys or anything, just getting to know them. And if I don't like the guy in 48 hours, then I'll drop him, and there's just no pressure. And not having to let anybody know. Okay, I'm getting into the pros and cons list. I don't want to talk about that yet because I am going to go in for that one. Thinking about this topic makes me kind of laugh, because as much as I say, yes, I love being single, and yes, it's just like everything that I want, I don't really think I've ever truly been single. Although I've never had a boyfriend, I've never had another boyfriend, I have had people that I've been talking to that were serious and might have been a boyfriend, but it's just like one after the other, and then I get over them and then I move on. But I don't think I've truly been single. So I'm trying to think of a time that I've like genuinely been single since the moment I broke up with my boyfriend. And what I mean by like single, I mean like not talking to a single guy. And that's never happened. I've always like kind of had somebody, which isn't great because like I kind of need to be alone, but also like I don't owe anything to anybody, which is nice. But yeah, I'll probably circle back to those points a little bit later just because it's important. I mean, my biggest thing is just like not jumping from relationship to relationship. I've seen a lot of people like not fully, people like not fully cope in the right ways and feel that they need this validation from other people, and that's just like the worst thing you could do, to be honest with you. But yeah, let's get into the pros and cons list. I had a kind of hard time thinking about some cons, which was really great to see and great to hear. I was talking with my sister and I was like, all right, let's make a pros and cons list to being single. And the pros list like seems to just go on and on and on. And then like I said, had a kind of hard time thinking of cons. And I went to the internet, or my sister went to the internet, and they're like, being lonely. I don't catch myself being like a very lonely person. And maybe again, we can circle back to the point of me never actually being single. So is that why I've never actually been lonely? I don't know. But so personal cons that I thought of by myself and my sister: not having somebody at family gatherings or family parties and stuff. And that one is kind of a big one. And as much as like I'm not gonna let it ruin my time, it kind of, it is a deal, because my siblings all have I'm saying like all, like I have 7 siblings. Like, no, I have 3 other siblings. One of them is single and the other 2 are in like pretty serious relationships, which is a bummer sometimes, because when we go on camping trips or we go on family trips or whatever the case may be, their significant others are there, and then it's just like me and my sister left to we're just the lefts of the party. So I feel like if we did have a relationship, we probably wouldn't be as fun. But my sister and I are left to drink some White Claws and sit alone together while my siblings are with their significant others, which is a little bit sad, but I have a good time. I mean, it's not going to be something that kills me. Like, it's not that big of a deal for me, at least. But yes, that was a big thing. And also we have like Wednesday family dinners every single Wednesday. And again, although my brother is not home, his girlfriend is always coming around. My sister's boyfriend is always coming around. And then it's just, again, me and my sister just like riding solo, which maybe we can fix that, but not a big concern of mine right now. Then I just had that was pretty much the only thing that I really, truly, truly agreed with. Oh, the other thing that I kind of agreed with was date nights, but again, like, it's not really something that I miss or something that I crave anymore. I would much rather go to dinner or lunch or a date night with my friends or my sisters or my family than a guy that I probably don't really like. I mean, if he's my boyfriend, then I probably like him. But like, if I'm just going on dates and like, I probably don't like you that much, so I would much rather just go with my friends. And I guess, like, yes, having a boyfriend and him I remember being in my last relationship and him and I would go on dates and it was a lot of fun, but like, is it something that I want right now? No. So moving on, I had to go to my friends and ask them kind of about what they think a con is in their relationship. And I asked a lot of my friends just to kind of give me their input, and they had some stuff to say, which makes me think that, maybe I should be having some more cons, or maybe I'm happy with being single right now. But I asked, yeah, let's get into what their cons were. So they said not having someone to go on errands with or like adventures. And again, I agree with that statement. Yes, I would be like, hey, you want to go get lunch right now, or you want to go to the store? But like, by the time that they get, like, why am I trying to disagree with this? Like, that's just people's cons. But by the time that your boyfriend or girlfriend gets here, maybe I just like really can't have a boyfriend right now because that sounds so unappealing. But by the time your boyfriend or girlfriend gets to your house, and then you get in the car, and then you drive to Target, and then you come back, like, I would have already been done by the time you got here. Like, you know, maybe I'm just like moving a little bit too fast. I'm not sure. But yeah, the adventure part, yes, I would love to have somebody to come to the beach with me and watch sunset. But again, I'm just perfectly content with doing that with my friends also. So I don't think it's that big of a deal. She said that's true. Actually, I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with this one actually. Having to look good all the time because you never know when you'll meet someone. But when you're in a relationship, you could just kind of be like, whatever. And my friends and I went out this weekend, and my mom was like, when you guys go out, like, do you guys meet people? And like, genuinely, no. Like, when my friends and I go out, we are going out with the girls, and we're not looking to meet guys, and we're not looking to talk to guys and da 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 and all this stuff. Like, no, that is not our goal. But when I'm at school, or I'm when it's like casual or whatever, it is true, because yes, you do have to look somewhat decent when you're going out to parties or you're going out to whatever, because yes, you might meet somebody and you're like, oh, you're kind of cute. Yes, you do have to kind of look good. And in a relationship, I do think that a lot of people let themselves go, and people gain that relationship weight, which is completely fine and completely normal. But a lot of people just let themselves go and are just like going to wherever, whenever, just kind of however they look, because who cares? They already have a boyfriend, which you should be getting ready for yourself at the end of the day instead of your boyfriend or your girlfriend. But I mean, I know when I was in a relationship, I was not wearing makeup or not putting on cute outfits, and I would only really wear cute things. I wouldn't even like dress up for like him, which was kind of like sad, but like not really. But I would only really get ready for date nights, or like if we were going out to like parties and stuff, which was like it. Not having someone to tell your big or little things to all the time, and like not having that person to be excited as you are about your accomplishments. A lot of people probably agree with that one. I could see that being an issue, but maybe I'm just like trying to, I don't know. I just have a big mouth, so I just tell everybody everything, so I get my validation from that. But I guess it is true, like having your boyfriend sit there and be like, oh, I'm proud of you, or like, that's great. No, yeah, that's true. I do seek validation from like people that I like, actually, so that is true. I'm kind of rethinking my life, not having that special bond or connection that you can't get with anybody else. Yes, getting to know other people at a deeper level is very important, but the downside to that is having to redo it, which sounds absolutely exhausting for me. I would probably rather die than sit there and tell somebody else my favorite color and let them know that my favorite food is whatever and that I like to whatever. So that sounds horrible, but already having that person that already knows everything about you and knows exactly what you like and what you don't like and what you need when you're sad is really awesome. But then like having to go through the whole process of like teaching a new person that actually makes me want to stab my eyes out. Let's get to the pros though. Pros to being single. I mean, I did not need help with this list. I think every single person, I'm being so hypocritical right now because I've never actually truly been single, but I think that every single person needs a season of singleness, and some people probably need more than a season, but a season of singleness. And for me, pros to being single, you're single, period. Like, you are single, like you owe absolutely nothing to anybody. And if I wanted to go to wherever I wanted to go, I let my parents know I'll be back later, and that's it. Nobody else is telling me what to do. I'm just kind of riding solo, and I know a lot of people are like, I can't go because my boyfriend is so insecure that I can't go out alone. Why is he being so insecure? Let me add some relationship advice, and I've never been wrong about this. If your boyfriend is insecure about you doing something or you being somewhere, it's because when he's in those situations, he's probably doing the wrong thing. So he doesn't want you to be doing that, point blank period. If your boyfriend does not like you going to parties alone, or if your boyfriend doesn't like you doing whatever alone, it's because when he's there doing it alone, he's being sketchy as fuck. So that's it. Brings me back to, like, my friends are not my friends, because I would never, like, no, but some people that I know let their boyfriends control their whole entire life, and it's absolutely disgusting, and they can't hang out with their friends without their boyfriend being there. Because why? Their boyfriend is probably cheating on them, because there's no other explanation. Your boyfriend doesn't let you do this, it's because when he's doing it, he's being sketch as fuck. So moving along. Sorry, that just brought out an anger in me that I cannot handle. Moving along though, pros to being single. Getting to know people, and like I said earlier, you get to choose who you want, and you get to choose who you don't want. And if you like this about that one person, then you like this certain quality about a person. So that maybe you can probably add that to your, what's the word called? Credentials? That can't be right. Your qualifications. You get to try new things with new people, and I think that's really important, and it helps you grow. And if you end up hating the person, you got a free dinner out of it, move on with your life. Continuing on, I put going out alone and not needing someone, which I don't know if that's a pro. Why did I put that? Going out alone. Yes, going out alone and not depending on, not needing someone. I think I just really meant like not having to have that one person there at all times, and getting to do whatever you want to do. You're at a party and you want to go talk to this guy, or you're at dinner and you think this guy is cute, or you're at school and you want to talk to this new guy. Again, no pressure to literally anybody. And the last pro that I kind of live by a little bit, again, do as I do, not as I say. I'm kind of being a hypocrite, but you get to choose who you want and not get chosen. I have been in situations where I have been in situations where I have gotten chosen and I didn't get to choose, and those relationships never worked out, and I did not like them. I kind of am more of a outgoing, more dominant person, so I like to choose the guys that I want to be with. And that's the pro about being single. You get to choose who you want, you get to choose when you want, you get to choose if you want to go out with the guy again, and if you don't, who cares? Bye. Another thing about a con, which I didn't agree with, sorry, I'm circling back to the cons, but I didn't agree with, or isn't really like an issue in my life yet. Give me a couple years and I'll probably have it be a big issue in my life. But another con was, and a lot of people said it, having people like ask you why you're single, or like ask you why you don't have somebody, or ask you if you want to be set up, or like, oh, so when are you gonna get a boyfriend? Oh, so when are you gonna get married? Oh, and I think like there's a huge stereotype in our personal lives. It happens with everybody. There's just this stereotype that like you have to have a boyfriend, and if you don't have a boyfriend, then what's wrong with you? Which is very sad that people think that way. But honestly, being single is a choice. You choose to be single, and it's personal preference. Don't have any pressure on getting a boyfriend, or don't put any pressure on yourself, or don't ever think that something is wrong with you. Sometimes being single is a lot better than having a boyfriend. And you're going out and not having to pick these petty fights with your boyfriends, and you're going out and just being at peace with yourself. Also, pro to being single, not worried about getting cheated on, which is a big thing for a lot of people. Not having to worry about what is da-da-da doing and is he cheating on me? Because chances are, I'm just joking, I'm being super negative about men. Men are nice, but just don't have to worry about getting cheated on. Best case scenario. So I went on to Instagram, like you guys know. That's pretty much it for my portion of the things. I really like going onto Instagram and asking you guys input about things of your life. And so I basically asked you guys to just kind of give me a little bit of statements or questions about being single and how to be alone. I just think that you just have to be I can sit in a blank room with myself and just completely be entertained, which is alarming sometimes, because why am I able to entertain myself that well? But just learning how to be alone. It's going to be hard at first, because yes, when I was going through like my main phase of breakups and all that, I was so dependent on these people, and it was really sad to see that I needed somebody, or I thought that I needed somebody that badly, which is not the case at all. It's just about, it's going to take time to learn to be alone, but when you are alone, you're going to love it. Even though I don't really like being alone most of the time, I like being with friends and I like being with family. But yeah, you're just going to learn to be alone. I just came out of a 6-year relationship and I don't know how to survive alone. See, this is a huge, huge problem for a lot of people. It's hard at first because yes, mine was 3 years, but yes, you spent 6 years with somebody. And it is absolutely insane to think about one morning you're going to just wake up and not have that person next to you, which is sad. It's very, very sad. But again, you work on yourself, go to the gym, get a new hobby, start a podcast. That wasn't my reasoning for starting a podcast, but like start a podcast, do whatever you want, and just make sure you're focusing on yourself. And then do that 90-day no communication rule and let me know how it goes after. But yes, you don't know how you're going to survive. You think it's the end of the world right now, but I promise you that in a couple months you're going to look back and be like, wow, I was an idiot for thinking that. And like my grandpa says, I was born without you so I can live without you. You had a life before those 6 years, and your life was completely fine and dandy before those 6 years. So just know in a couple months your life will be fine and dandy, because like my grandpa said, you were born without them so you can live without them, or something along the lines of that. Do you think it's a good idea to be in a relationship during college? Yes and no. I've personally never really had a relationship in college, so I don't really know, but I know that I wouldn't be ready to commit right now to absolutely anybody. And that, actually, I can talk about this. Maybe I shouldn't, but I'm gonna. I recently was talking to somebody and he was a great guy. Yeah, he was a really good guy and kind of giving me everything that I've ever wanted for a very long time, and so ready for it to be all about me. And I don't know why, but I was like scared of that commitment. Maybe I'm saying maybe as if like I don't know, like yes, that was the reason why you said no, but it's just personal preference. I'm not ready to be in a relationship right now, and I think that a lot of people are so eager to be in a relationship until they've been single for so long, and you're just like, ooh, the thought of like having to talk to somebody every single day and make time for somebody every single day and do all that, not the best decision. I don't think you should have a relationship your freshman and sophomore year of college, though. Absolutely not. Those are the 2 years that you are growing most as a person and getting to know yourself and really getting to be alone. So having that attachment, usually when people are going into college with a boyfriend, it's going to be from their hometown. So you're having that attachment from your hometown, and you really are never going to have the chance to grow. So yes, I don't know. I guess if I ever get a boyfriend in college, I'll let you guys know. But I personally am saying no, don't get a boyfriend in college. What are some good distractions while being single? And I think working on yourself. Although working on yourself should not be considered a distraction at all. You're investing in yourself, so I think that should be a priority. But yes, working on yourself, you spent so long focusing on somebody else. Give yourself that same energy that you gave into the other person, people, the other your partner. How to party as single. What do you mean how to party as single? And I love you so much. I love you more. How to party single. When you're single, you can party. There's no like rule book to partying when you're single. Don't go out looking for guys. Don't go out, like hunting for men. It's not, guys pick that up also. Like, focus on yourself. Don't be so eager to get in a relationship. And I think what a lot of people got, like a lot of guys especially, think that if you're showing up to a place alone, you're there because you want to meet a guy. That is not the situation, men. If you're listening to this, no, that is not the situation. When girls are going to a party, it's usually because they want to have a good time with their friends. And if you are lucky enough to talk to them, then that's it. But usually they're just there for their friends. What do you think about the age difference? Let's say that the couple is 7 years apart. I love you. I love you more. 7 years. So think about it. When you were 10, they were 17. All right. When you were 20, they were 27. That doesn't sound as bad, but that's still pretty bad. Just think about the 10 to 17. And if you're comfortable with that, then so be it. But I mean, I feel like the age difference situation was so popular back in the day. And then now it's like kind of looked down upon. I personally would not date somebody that's 7 years older than me, because what is a 27-year-old doing with a 20-year-old? Like, you must have something wrong with you, and you must not be mentally mature enough to talk to somebody your own age. So you're gonna go and stoop down 7 years younger. Like, what happened there? Which is a little questionable, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I should talk to a 27-year-old and then I'll let you guys know. My mom and my sister said the same thing. My sister said my eyes are bigger than my stomach, which means, this was a con. Maybe I shouldn't even be talking about this, but my mom said the same exact thing, that you don't have somebody to finish your food for you, which is very funny that that's an issue for people, or that's what people think. Anyways, how can you meet people or talk to people at GCU or in college? I kind of had a hard time. I mean, just following people on Instagram and meeting people at parties, but like, make sure you're like meaning to be their friend first before you like are meaning to get into a relationship. Starting off slow. I mean, don't put pressure on anything. Everybody just be chill. Why is everybody so eager to get a boyfriend? I would probably rather die than have a boyfriend right now. I say that and then like watch me like next week post up with a boyfriend. I'm like, hey guys, boyfriend reveal. But yeah, guys. So I mean, be single. And if you're in a relationship that you're not happy in, please leave. You're wasting that other person's time and you're wasting your own time as well. What else do I have to say for you guys? I love you all so much. I am so sorry for like the off weeks these past couple weeks, but just know that we are back and ready to get the ball rolling again. Make sure you guys are following me on my Instagram. I put my Instagram to Airam Gallegos with 2 S's at the end of Gallegos. I usually will film my podcasts on Mondays or Sundays, but usually Mondays. So watch out for my Instagram stories on Mondays to kind of see what the topic is about, and you guys can go ahead and give your input, and yeah, you guys can participate in the Q&As or just like give me statements or DM me issues that you guys are having. I think next week's episode is going to be an advice session, which is my advice very good? No, but go ahead and follow me on Instagram and then start DMing me any advice you guys want to hear. You guys can, I mean, I'm looking at my DMs all the time, so guys, go ahead and DM me anything you need advice on, and I will be answering your questions. But for the most part, thank you guys so much for watching. Also, guys, thank you so much for the very positive and awesome response to last week's episode with Eileen. If you guys have not checked that out already, please go check it out. We kind of go in and really dig deep into who she really is and what her plan is and what she's doing and how she's doing. So go ahead and listen to that one. I know a lot of you guys love her, and I'm so happy that she was able to come on the podcast. And for these upcoming weeks, yes, we're going to be having guests again. We're getting the ball rolling. I'm trying to just schedule people, and I'm very excited. So I love you guys all so much. Stay single, my friends, and always remember, there's plenty of fish in the sea. Love you.